today's edition of The Brief, your favorite bilingual program where we analyze top stories in newspapers. And the papers today are focusing on the late Christian Cardinal Tommy, who shall be buried today. Equally in the papers, we shall find stories or information about the COVID-19 vaccines, the 4,000 close to 400,000 doses of AstraZeneca were receptioned on Saturday after the Chinese Sinopharm vaccine. And the program is interactive, and we have PELDRINE Blanche today with us to analyze with us. Good morning to you, Blanche.
AUDREY ZATSA.
Thanks for joining us. And equally, we shall have QUINTEIN Etape, as usual, who will be telling us what the French papers are having for us this morning. Bonjour à toi, Quentin.
Bonjour, AUDREY ZATSA, et bonjour à nos millions de téléspectateurs. Les thèmes des unes des journaux présents en kiosque ce matin sont variés et dominés quelque part par les hommages et adieux adressés au cardinal Christian Tommy, décédé il y a de cela plus de 2 semaines au moins. Donc c'était le 3 avril dernier de cette année 2021. L'on parle également d'un éventuel lynchage du patron du Minidu et de cette alerte qui est lancée dans le Nouveau à propos le Cameroun. Mesdames et messieurs, bonjour une fois de plus et bienvenue dans ce programme de la grande revue de presse bilingue sur Mamedia Prime TV, la télévision qui construit votre future édition de ce 20 avril 2021. Mesdames et messieurs, ouvrons très rapidement avec le quotidien à capitaux gouvernemental Cameroun Tribune qui s'intéresse au premier cardinal du Cameroun, son éminence Christian Tommy, et se concentre plus sur le temps des adieux qui lui sont adressés à sa grande une. D'après le journal de Marie-Claire Nana, les obsèques de l'archevêque émérite de Douala, décédé tout le 3 avril dernier, ont lieu ce jour dans la métropole économique du pays, en présence du Premier ministre, chef du gouvernement, Joseph Djongouti, représentant du président de la République, son Excellence Paul Biya. La levée de corps de l'illustre disparu a eu lieu hier. En tout cas, d'amples d'informations concernant le sujet vous sont livrées en intégralité dans les colonnes des pages 6 et 7 de ce numéro présent en kiosque ce matin. En plus de bi-hebdomadaire, l'essentiel s'inscrit également dans le même thème à la côte droite de sa une, en titrant hommage le dernier voyage du cardinal Christian Tommy dans sa page 2 de sa parution de ce jour. Par ailleurs, aux pages 4 et 6, le même journal nous parle de la nutrition alimentaire. Titre consommation du pain amer des livreurs. En effet, d'après les explications de nos confrères, si les boulangers ont augmenté de 10 francs CFA le prix de la baguette de pain sortie usine, c'est pour supporter l'inflation des coûts des matières premières. Les livreurs contestent cette décision unilatérale et menacent de répercuter cette hausse sur les détaillants pour sauvegarder leur marge bénéficiaire, martèle le journal d'Antoine Wondo à Rwanda. Le ministre du Commerce est-il déterminé à protéger les consommateurs? En tout cas, je vous invite à consulter ce journal pour découvrir la réponse de cette question. Poursuivons avec le quotidien L'économie qui traite pour thème la mauvaise alimentation dans le Nouveau et titre alerte nord-ouest et sud-ouest en situation d'urgence alimentaire. Si l'on s'en tient aux arguments du journal de Thierry Ekouti, suivant une étude, la réduction de la mobilité urbaine et interurbaine à cause de la crise sociopolitique a empêché de bon déroulement de la campagne agricole dans ces régions. Information à retrouver dans la page 3 de cette parution
présents dans les kiosques ce matin. Et puis terminons avec le quotidien Info Matin qui titre Tentative de lynchage et Tundingwa dans le viseur des mercenaires en page 3 de sa livraison de ce jour. Le journal tente d'expliquer que le mini-dupe est gratuitement jeté en pâture sur les réseaux sociaux par un lanceur d'alerte du dimanche, visiblement en mission commandée. Mesdames et messieurs, fin et stop pour la lecture des unes en langue française. Place actuellement à la découverte des tabloïds avec toi, Madame Audrey Zatsa, en langue de Shakespeare.
Merci infiniment à toi, Quentin Etape. And let's begin flipping through the pages of the English newspapers with the Guardian Post, which focuses on the late Christian Cardinal Toomey, who began his final journey yesterday, Monday 19th April 2021, as his coffin arrived at the St. Peter and Paul's Cathedral in Douala for a funeral mass. We are told in this paper that over 1 million of people, persons from all walks of life, gathered at the cathedral to honor and wish the man of God a befitting farewell after he passed away on Good Friday, 3rd April this year. And you shall find more details of this on page 3 of the Guardian Post newspaper. The paper equally talks about a shootout believed to have transpired between Amber Boys and the military on Sunday, 18th April in the Songwa vicinity in Bamenda, Mezam Division, Northwest region, which left at least 6 persons dead and several wounded. Inhabitants say it happened at about 10 p.m. The circumstances under which they were fired remains unknown, plus the exact identities of those who opened the fire. The World Program has stressed that immediate action be taken to curb food insecurity in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon and other West and Central African nations. This was in a statement made last Friday by the UN agency, where they say over 31 million people across these areas have nothing to eat. On to the Eden newspaper, we talk about a battle against COVID-19. 4 vaccines on immunization plan, according to the Eden newspaper. Sinopharm, AstraZeneca, Johnson & Johnson, and Sputnik 5 are 4 vaccines approved by Cameroon's National Scientific Council and National Immunization Technical Board to roll back the pandemic in the country. Cameroon launched the first phase of the vaccination against COVID-19 on April 13th, a few hours after the arrival of 200,000 doses of the Chinese donated vaccine Sinopharm, and the vaccines were quickly dispatched to 234 vaccination centers across the country's 10 regions. And the paper equally tells us that leading by example, Southwest Governor Okalia Bilai takes the first COVID vaccine jab, followed by FACO SDO Ngamba Ledoux and Health Delegate Dr. Zach Ebongo. Let's end with municipal updates, which equally focused on the late Cardinal Christian Cardinal Toomey and described him as a rare Cameroonian and emblematic figure of peace in the nation. The paper says His Excellency President Paul Biya has dispatched Prime Minister, Head of Government, Chief Joseph Dr. John Gute to represent him at the funeral ground, as the world will be bidding or paying their last respect to His Eminence, who shall be buried this day in the presence of members of the Episcopal Council and others. And still in this paper we are told that Minister Paul Tassong recalls His Eminence uniqueness in a rare piece. That was it for the papers today, and let's come back to the studio. And as I told you at the start, we have again the PELDRINE Blanche with us. We shall be analyzing what the papers are saying today. And Blanche, as you have heard, the papers are talking about the late Christian Cardinal Toomey, who shall be buried today, and some or many who describe him as an emblematic figure of peace in Cameroon. What do you have to say about this?
Against all odds, he's shown that he's deep into peace, by keeping aside his religious, beliefs, his values, his denomination and calling for Cameroonians as a whole to unite towards peace. Yes, he's shown that by uniting, brothers from different denominations, calling on Cameroonians of goodwill to add up to his initiative of inviting peace or calling for peace since the outbreak of the socio-political crisis in the country. He has brought together Muslim faithfuls, Christian faithfuls on the same platform, on the same table. They came out with a document. Yes, a document, a rich document which was submitted to the Prime Minister with ideas of peace, on ways to bring back peace in the country. I think that's a lot of dedication for a clergy, someone who is not, he's affected, no doubt, but directly he's not, though his village is in chaos like every other village in the two restive regions, but he is in Douala. He's not obliged to, do that. But as a Cameroonian of goodwill, yes, he's taking it upon himself to see to it that peace is given a chance, and through the right way. He has constantly denounced violence, even when he was kidnapped in the northwest region during his visit with Fonbinglo. Yeah, when they were kidnapped, he constantly made it clear that he is neutral. He's a man of his word. If the government falters, he will say the government has done wrong. If the boys on their part do wrong or falter, he will tell them outrightly that they have done wrong. So he's shown us over time, during his stay here, that he is very neutral. Like Lasha qualified him as a neutral politician. He was into politics, but without sides.
And Blanche, like he's dying at a period where the crisis in the northwest and the southwest regions are still, ongoing. It's like nothing is being done.
Audrey, that's the very essence of life. We are born to die. No one will live forever. But what is very important is the impact you make while you live here on earth. He has sowed the seed of peace. We are hoping that so many people have bought this idea or have been able to reach out or touch or learn or feed from this seed that the Cardinal has sowed. Everyone will die. It is his time. He has lived a very good life, and he's made his impact felt so far by touching the lives of so many people who now buy the idea of peace. It is now in their place to continue what he has started.
Ok, parlant justement de la crise qui sévit dans le Nouzou,
oui.
Eh bien, il y a une information qui rapporte que la situation alimentaire est quasiment délétère. Qu'est-ce qui aurait expliqué cela?
What is going on in the two English-speaking regions is very sad, but we've established this several times. We're going to 5 years over since the start of this crisis. People do not plant. They don't have time to go about their economic activities. How then do you expect hunger not to affect these regions? They plant sometimes, and we've had cases or reports of attacks even on farmlands. People coming to destroy crops planted by farmers, and we're hoping to have food at the end of the year or at the end of the day. It is not done like that. There are periods where farmers have to go to the farms and plant. There are periods where economists or business persons have to, gain more money from their businesses. But things are not moving in these two regions. Poverty, famine, and hunger is bound to be the order of the day. Things are not moving according to the season and according to how it's supposed to work. When it's farming time, it's either a crossfire between the military or armed separatists or something like that. People are bound, they are supposed to seek for safety or protect themselves.
But with the socio-political crisis in the northwest and the south, do you really think that this food insecurity can be curbed in these regions?
It can if we are serious with peace and what we want. We've always established that we cannot keep fighting the war with the same idea we used, or keep looking for a solution with the same idea we used when we created it. It's time we set aside all the differences, all our desires, and then give peace a chance. We would be fooling ourselves if we think that by carrying aid or carrying food from other regions to these regions will solve the scarcity or the crisis. It will not. You will carry a truck of food to the northwest region today. You will serve those families, no doubt. For how long will you keep doing that? For how long will you keep doing that? Those people have farmlands. They can very well protect or provide for themselves. Why not offer them an enabling environment? Let them live like they've been living. They used to feed this country. Why now are we think that we can feed them? It's just peace. It's just giving a conducive environment for everything to go back to how it was. It's only peace that can give us the adequate food and resources that we want back in the
Oui,
country.
selon vous, qu'est-ce qu'il faut faire d'urgence pour remédier à cette situation? Parce que le dit-on souvent, lorsqu'on ne mange pas, on a forcément des problèmes. Qu'est-ce qu'il faut faire?
He's an angry man.
Exactly.
Of course, would want to, while we're looking for a long-term solution, which is peace, which we've had so many initiatives, born just to make sure that peace comes back to the country. We can use the other option, which is, taking food from other regions to the restive regions who are in dire need of this food right now. But it is really sad to see that these two regions who are noted for their productivity and now finding themselves in a very vulnerable state. It's really sad to see that if it is possible, we can, divert the resources of the food from other regions to these other regions. Now the problem comes in transportation. How sure are we that these foodstuff we're carrying from these regions will safely get to their the destination? That's
And a lot of them who have to leave from these regions to Douala or Yaoundé, we're talking about IDPs.
Yeah. That's people living, that's displacement, people living their areas. It would only lead to congestion, but that's they've seen it that it's another way out. We cannot, people have to save their lives, Audrey. People have to save their lives. If that's the only way that they can, save their life while we're waiting for peace, then I think that they should. When they act like that, I think it's an eye opener to all those who are in the places, those who are in high places, those who know what to do, what they are supposed to do to act fast. Yes, because when these areas are congested, it would serve as an awakener, like a sense of reawakening the people that, hey, what is happening? Douala wasn't like this 2 years ago. It's now like this. It would occur to them that some people are here who are not supposed to be here. Let them go back to their place, and you have to make sure that they have a conducive environment before they go back.
Très rapidement, concernant toujours la consommation, du moins l'alimentation, l'on rapporte que le prix du pain a augmenté de 10 francs CFA. Quelle sera donc la situation des démunis? Est-ce qu'on va plus manger le pain? En fait, qu'est-ce qu'il faut faire qu'est-ce qui cause cela, selon vous?
We're going through a rough time in this country. We're going through a health crisis, a socio-political and an economic crisis. Yes, so it's going to have a long-term effect, and we're looking also for a long-term answers to this. But meantime, we just have to, to make do with what we have. This is not the worst Cameroon has experienced, because the first it experienced was actually the worst. Cameroon was never known for the way it was hit back then. But if we are here, we can actually do it and move forward. There will be worse days ahead, because we're not seeing the possibility of anything changing. Things are just moving around in circles. So we just have to make do with what we have. Things will get very expensive. There will be inflation and all the like, but we must keep striving, because at the end we'll have what we want.
Okay, Blanche, let's talk about the COVID-19 vaccines. First of all, I'd like to ask, it's everybody is encouraged in Cameroon to be vaccinated. What is your take on this?
I buy that. Government spokesperson Rene Emmanuel Sadi has even established that so far this is the best option for Cameroonians, because every other thing, that's the barrier measures and everything that was put in place to curb the spread of the virus, has failed. It has failed woefully, and we can only see ourselves moving up to bigger figures, more positive cases in the country. And so this is supposed to be maybe the best option for now, and I buy the idea. But what I think the government is missing is sensitization. We have the vaccines, and other consignments are coming into the country soon. Very soon enough, we'll have the Johnson & Johnson and the other vaccine, making it 4, coming into the country. We will consume it when these people know very little about it. Information is not even flowing. You have to give these people apt reason. That's reasons enough. Talk to them. Let them know why they're consuming and what they are taking into them.
Yes.
Information is flowing from all quarters now. These people are feeding.
That's the reason why they are afraid.
That being skeptical because information from the right quarters is not available. They are feeding from what they hear from the corners, and then a lie told repeatedly becomes truth. These people are not seeing any other information to debunk what they are hearing. They are not having any real information from the authorities that is to say that everything you've been hearing is a lie. Take this one, this is the right information, or constant information flow. They are not having it, so they are forced to believe the things that are here from quarters, and the confusion is just there. They are bound to be very skeptical about it. So sensitization has to come before even immunization or vaccination. They have to let these people know that, contrary to what you've been hearing, this is the vaccine. We have been vaccinated, and this is it. This is it. It has to be continuous.
Blanche, with top administrative officials taking the first vaccines, is it not encouraging enough?
It is not enough for Cameroonians. The country that we are, we've lost so much trust in these authorities. People are forced to believe whatever they want to believe. So now you have to go down to their level to explain to them. It's like buying the trust of Cameroonians again. That's just one. That's just one on 5 in trying to buy the trust of Cameroonians. You have to do more than that. Talk to them, show them proof, show them more proof that this is what you're doing. You don't just take your own and you sit behind. You have to give them follow-up information, especially if I'm talking about information because it's very cheap. It's very cheap. That's something that is not supposed to be lacking. People are supposed to find this information about the vaccines and its side effects and everything everywhere they go. They're not supposed to hear from somebody who's not even versed with it. It's not supposed to be like that. Yes, so what the information that they are feeding us with, I know that they've been trying a lot. Kudos to the Ministry of Public Health. They've been doing a good job this far, but I think that they can do more than that, to make sure that the nooks and crannies receive this information and at the simplest, chewed and delivered to our mothers and our fathers and our vulnerable and our siblings in the best way possible.
Okay, Blanche, we have come to the end of the program. Thanks very much for having been with us.
You're welcome, Audrey Zatsa.
Merci Blanche. Je vous rassure que c'était avec un cœur enflammé de joie que nous vous avons reçu sur ce plateau. Je crois que les occasions vont se multiplier. Eh bien, merci à vous, nos millions de téléspectateurs qui nous ont regardés ce matin. On se donne rendez-vous peut-être demain, s'il plaît à Dieu. Surtout, restez en compagnie des programmes de My Media Prime TV, la télévision qui construit votre futur.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is on this note that we close the curtains of today's edition. Thanks for having been part of us, and we take rendezvous for tomorrow. Meanwhile, for presentation, I have been Audrey Zatsa and QUINTEIN. Bye.